So today we're looking at solving simultaneous equations, which is moving on to the higher level work involving solving. So I'll write an example down. So in this example we've got 4x plus 2y equals 22, and we've got 2x plus 2y equals 14. So obviously immediately this is very different to the solving questions we've done before. To start with, in an equation we've got an x and a y. We've got two unknown values. Coupled with that, we have two equations. Now everything we've dealt with so far, we've had one equation with one unknown, so one letter in it, and then you can solve that. As soon as you have two things that you need to find out, you have to have two equations, or there can be lots of different answers. Now we're going to look at several different methods of doing this, but we're going to start with one called elimination, and the aim of this is to get rid of one of the letters using the two equations together, so then we can find the value of the first letter and then plug that back in to find the value of the second letter. So take your two equations and number them. So I'm going to call the first one 1 and the second one 2. Now if we look at these, and this will be true for all of these first set of questions, we have the same amount of y. So we've got 2y there and we've got 2y there. And if we note that they're both positive in this example as well, that means if we take one of these equations away from the other, we'll end up with 2y take away 2y, which will give us 0. Now in this case, because we have 4x here and 2x here, the subtraction we're going to do is equation 1 take away equation 2. Now it's good practice to keep this notation. So we've labelled the two equations, and then we can use those labels to explain what we're doing as we work through the problem. Now with them written out like this, it's easy to work along. So if we do 4x take away 2x, that's going to give us 2x. The 2y take away the 2y is going to give us 0, and the 22 take away the 14 is going to give us 8. Now if you notice, just like with all solving questions, I've kept my equals in a line, I've kept my x's in a line, where the y's were there's a blank. Keep setting your work out like this. It makes it much easier to follow through, especially now we've got more bits that we're trying to deal with. So from here, it's just a very basic solving question. To get rid of this 2, we're going to divide by 2, because that's doing the opposite, doing it to both sides. So we're left with x equals 4. Now that's found the value of x, but both of our equations had two unknown values, an x and a y, in there as well. So having found x, we now need to try and find y. So the easiest way to do that is to substitute this value back into one of the equations. Which one doesn't matter, so I'm going to go with number 1. So again, note down what you're doing to show that you understand the steps that we're doing. So sub, short for substitute, x equals 4 into number 1. Okay, again maintaining that same notation all the way through. The number in a circle representing an equation. So substitute x equals 4 into 1 would give us 4 times 4. So 4x becomes 4 times 4 plus 2y equals 22. Now we don't know y yet, so we then have to use our solving. So a bit of working out. 16 plus 2y equals 22. Just doing our basic solving. So we want to get rid of the 16. We take it away on both sides. So 16 goes to 0, leaving us with just the 2y. 22 take away 16 gives us 6. And finally, we're going to divide by 2 to get rid of that. Divide by 2, which gives us y equals 3. So it's always good just to write your answer, collect everything together that you've done. So we just say x equals 4, y equals 3, and that's our answer. So we've worked through each step, going from 4x plus 2y equals 22 and 2x plus 2y equals 14. Done a subtraction to get rid of one letter, then substituted in to find the other letter, and that's our answer. Now we're going to look at a second example of a slightly different situation. So if we have 3x minus 3y equals 9 and 2x plus 3y equals 16. We're going to number them 1 and 2 again. That's how we should always start. Now, if we look this time, because we've got minus 3y and plus 3y, if we did equation 1 take away equation 2, minus 3y take away 3y would give us minus 6y, so it's not cancelled them out. If we did the takeaway the other way, 3y take away minus 3y, taking away a negative adds on, so we'd end up with plus 6y, again not cancelled out. So when the signs are different, when we have a minus and a plus where our letters the same, we have to add them together. So we're going to do equation 1 add equation 2. 3x add 2x gives us 5x. Minus 3y add 3y gets us to 0, which is what we wanted to achieve. And 9 add 16 gets us to 25. Now, basic solving again, divide by 5 on both sides to show what we're doing, leaving us with x equals 5. So we've found our x value now. Half of the question done. We now substitute back in to find our y value. So sub x equals 5 into, now you take your pick here, either one. I prefer my y's to be positive. I think it makes it easier, so I'm going to sub that into 2. That gives me 2 times 5, because I've swapped the x for 5, plus 3y equals 16. So 10 plus 3y equals 16. I'm going to follow my standard solving again. So I need this 10 gone, so I'm going to take away 10. Take away 10, leaving me with 3y equals 6. Now I've got this 3 to get rid of, so divide by 3, giving me y equals 2. Again, just to finish it off, we write everything out. So our solution is x equals 5, y equals 2. Now we've gone through the same process as that first example, the only difference being we've got a minus 3y and a plus 3y, so we've added them. On the first example we did we had a plus 2y and a plus 2y, so the symbols were the same, so we subtracted them. Now this also applies if they were both minus. If it was minus 2y and minus 2y, we'd still subtract them. So you've got to remember that when the signs are the same, we subtract. When the signs are different, we add. That's the main area that people fall down on. So I'd copy down both, at least one of, if not both of these examples, and then get on with the work on the worksheet.